RWBY is a show that's done some things wrong, but has also done some great stuff. And when they're really great, they just knock it out of the park. Even with my least favorite volumes, there's something I'll love, a great character moment, a fun fight scene, or something that just really resonates with me. These are the reasons I love this show, so let's celebrate the episodes that just come out on top. If you've seen my top 7 worst episodes video, you'll know how this one's gonna go. But if not, here's a quick rundown. I'm picking my personal favorite episodes from each volume, and then ranking them. Obviously, this is going to be pretty subjective. They're just my personal opinions. So in the comments, let me know what your favorites are. Now let's not waste any more time. Here's RWBY's top 7 best episodes.
Is this really what your parents would have wanted? I don't know what else to do! I don't know what else to do.
Volume 5 obviously had its problems, but in the midst of the volume's issues, we got one episode that just really stands up with the bests. The conclusion to Ilya's arc of the volume got all the emotion it deserved, and truly impressed me with how well her character was handled during the volume. It's only number 7 on my list because there are still a couple of hiccups with the episode as a whole. The beginning with Crow, Ruby, and Oz is slow and really boring on a rewatch. I also wish the small scene with Raven and Leo was actually expanded to really see the dynamic of the two planning to work together. But where True Colors really shines is when we get back to the fight in the Belladonna mansion. After building this up for 2 episodes prior, the fight between Blake and her old friend wowed me. And of course, Blake confronting Ilya on her actions and Ilya's scared confession of not knowing what to do really makes me love her character, and I'm hoping we get to see her again in the future. A nice, clean, wrapped-up conclusion for a character who honestly got the best parts of the volume.
She's learned a lesson that evaded me until I was much older. That there is strength in forgiveness.
After watching Monty's epic fight choreography in the trailers leading up to the show, I was impatiently waiting for the show proper to reach that level of awesomeness. And finally, Players and Pieces came out and absolutely blew me away. The conclusion to the kids' adventures in the Emerald Forest has been one of the most fun and satisfying moments for the show as a whole. Beyond the fight on the bridge, seeing Ruby and Weiss finally come to an understanding with each other made me excited to see them be our main characters for the show moving forward. And seeing Ruby taking charge and becoming a leader was heartwarming too. But of course, it's that epic fight on the bridge that makes this one of the most memorable episodes for the whole show. The 8 combatants never feel like they're unnecessary or like they're not pulling their weight against their foes. There's excellent teamwork on display from both teams, and some really fun use of the characters as weapons and abilities. Not to mention, the use of the location gets used in every single creative way possible. Characters recovering from falling off, using the ruins to their advantage, having to run up the destroyed ruins as they're fighting. It's all just endlessly fun and definitely worth the wait.
I wouldn't say I missed. Surprise!
Okay, before you leave a comment, I know this isn't a very popular choice. Volume 7 has a lot going on, and with all those characters and plot points, pomp and circumstance probably feels like an oddly boring pick for favorite. But I can't help it. I just really enjoy the episode. Our heroes finally getting their Huntsman licenses was a moment I've been dying to see. It's RWBY's line back in Volume 3.
And that's all while we were still in training. Oh, imagine what it'll be like when we graduate!
And seeing them actually achieve this goal just fills me with so much joy. I love seeing how much they've grown over the years, and this episode highlights that growth. From the fact that they realize they don't really care about getting their licenses after everything else they've learned and gone through, to even just standing by Weiss's side against her father. They've gone from bickering like kids to being true friends, and I love seeing it. On top of that, this is one of the few episodes where the comedy actually lands for me. But the real icing on this graduation cake is RWBY talking to Crow about her mom. No big overreactions, no big swells in music, no Crow or RWBY trying to glorify Summer. It's just a realistic, honest conversation about RWBY thinking about her mom. It's beautiful, and I love it. I know it's not the most conventional choice for the volume, but really, it just makes me so happy every time I watch it.
She was always the best of us. Bit of a brat, though. But hey, I like brats.
She tried try rollerblading sometime. It's super fun. It'd probably take you a while, though, since you're so, top-heavy. Excuse me?
Okay, now hear me out. I swear, with these last two choices, I'm gonna lose all my credibility. Similar to Pomp and Circumstance, I'm sure this is hardly the most popular choice for Volume 3, but I just love it so much. This is like the only choice on my list that's here just for its pure dumb fun. It's a fun fight with fun characters, and I just have a ton of fun watching it. Penny and Ruby's little scene in the beginning is cute, and Ciel is neat, but really it's the funky fight that just captures my heart. I love tournament fights to begin with, and seeing some combatants who can actually hold their own against our heroes made for an exciting encounter. And we got to see Weiss and Yang actually having a moment together. And Neon and Flint are just super cool opponents. Their semblances, weapons, designs, and personalities are just endless fun for the short while they lasted in this tournament. Meg Turney as Neon especially gives a stellar performance.
Look, now you're bottom heavy too.
I really don't know what else to say except to just gush about my favorite parts. So let's do that. I love that Penny's really heavy with her hug. I love that Flint and Neon's tactics are mostly just piss off their opponents. Neon's nunchucks are cool. Flint's semblance is a really cool take on the create multiples of myself type semblance. I like that Neon thinks Yang is annoying. I love how Yang uses the terrain to stop Neon. I love how Weiss references her singing. I love it.
You should cool off. Get it? Because you're angry.
This was the episode that made me fall in love with Tyrion as a villain. This is actually the episode I rewatched the most after my first viewing. I just kept going back and watching it because it just grips me with its conflicts and character moments. Seeing Weiss actually singing in the show proper is just a delight. And she's singing one of my favorite songs too. An extra little treat for me. But really seeing Weiss reach her limit with the Elysian upper crust just had me floored. I love seeing character growth, and I love seeing how Weiss has grown from the bratty, entitled type of personality seen from the other partygoers into the strong-willed person she is now. And her fiasco with the Borbotusk summon? Oh, it just had my heart doing jumping jacks with my emotions. Oh my god, she's gonna be in so much trouble. Oh my god, she's gonna kill that lady. Oh my god, Ironwood's gonna arrest her. Oh my god, she's gonna be in so much trouble. All of this has me on the edge of my seat, and I haven't even gotten to the Tyrion fighting Ranger part yet. I love seeing Ren finally get a moment to be our focal character, and his somber attitude when seeing Onigiri was a chilling difference from his usual calm demeanor. But it's the encounter with Tyrion that makes this episode worth rewatching over and over again. Tyrion's style of combat is a treat to watch. He's so weird and bendy, and he gets all up in your grill. He's fun to watch fight. And on top of the cool combat, the episode highlights his fun personality too. Tyrion's poetic vocabulary and almost theater-esque way of holding himself really caught me off guard. He's creepy and fun, and gives us one of the most chilling lines in the entire show.
My little flower, I'm here to whisk you away with me.
Well, what if she doesn't want to go with you?
Well, I'll take her.
Tyrion's tail reveal was cool, and then Crow's bird transition was cool. This is just a perfect example of an episode that's thrilling and exciting and leaves me on the edge of my seat every time I watch it. Volume 2 gets more flack than it deserves. We got some great moments from Volume 2, and this episode is the pinnacle of it all. A fun and thrilling conclusion to the girls' adventures, and the fight with the Paladin to this day is one of the best, if not the best, fight scene the show has ever had. Holy crap, I just love it. Seeing our girls using real teamwork tactics is exciting and very smart. Utilizing the girls' different movesets together in a way that's incredibly clever, and more importantly, epic to watch. Checkmate is a volley of attacks from one direction, Ladybug utilizes the girls' speed to batter the opponent from all sides, Ice Flower is a powerful ranged attack, and Bumblebee is one high-intensity hit. I love seeing the different strategies being used in rapid succession. The introduction to Neo was intriguing and makes our villains feel like an even bigger threat than the girls had initially anticipated, and the chase on Yang's bike before they even fight the Paladin has been one of RWBY's best animated sequences they've ever had. And you know, I could continue to gush over the fight from the episode for hours, but really, my absolute favorite part isn't even that. The real moment about this episode I love with all my heart is the scene in the beginning, where Penny tells RWBY she's a robot. I adore the scene so much. It might be my favorite scene from the entire show. RWBY and Penny's friendship is one of my favorite elements about these characters, and this heart-to-heart they share is a genuinely endearing moment for these two girls. Their friendship is written amazingly well, and it shows a side of RWBY we don't get to see too often. The fact that she's really caring and understanding. An element to RWBY not enough people talk about is her overwhelming love for others. RWBY loves Penny because of who she is, not what she's made of. It goes to show that an epic fight is always great for an episode, but it's the characters that make me love the series.
You're not like those things we saw back there. You've got a heart and a soul, I can feel it.
Now, before we get to number 1, let's look at some honorable mentions. The first episode of the series was a fun and intriguing way to introduce us to a handful of our main characters. Now, if you've seen my top worst video, you might remember that I had this episode as an honorable mention there too. I can't really decide if I think this episode is really good or really bad. I guess this is the most true neutral episode of the show. Burning the candle has one of the best Yang moments for the series, but the episode around that scene just doesn't have enough going on. The fights in No Breaks is also a ton of fun to watch, but RWBY and Oobleck's animation really just takes it out of me. Yang's fight with Mercury in Fall led to a plot point that sent me reeling with anticipation for Yang's character. Unfortunately, the rest of the episode is a real drag, especially on a rewatch. Gravity gave us one of the best choreographed fights in RWBY in recent memory, and Enemy of Trust has been the best finale for a volume the series has ever had. Neo fucking with Juniper, Cinder fighting Winter, Freya going all out with her maiden powers, this line?
I had a job to do.
Penny becoming the Maiden? I really do love it. It's just the sloppy execution of the volume leading up to this episode that kept me from putting it on my list. And a lot of people might hate me for this, but I do like seeing red. I think the fight with Adam was fun and had some great choreography. And as someone who's never really liked Adam and thought he was overrated and unnecessary for our plot and characters, his death seemed like only a good thing for me. But the whole mess with Cordo's mech really doesn't interest me at all, especially since it was the kids' fault that they caused this problem in the first place. But you know, let's not waste any more time. My personal best episode of RWBY of all time can be none other than...
I am really tired.
Alone in the Woods. In my opinion, this has been the best written episode the show has ever had. When people try to bash on Miles and Carrie for their writing, I always point to this episode because it's almost masterful in how it's done. The writing, the directing, the animation, the cast's performances, the tone, the pacing, everything. This episode is a glowing example on how to make a great product for your viewing audience. The conclusion to the small arc of getting to Argus after their train crash ended up being far more compelling and entertaining than I ever expected. The horror elements were built up perfectly in the episode prior, so this episode can really go all out with executing this chilling little adventure the heroes have found themselves in. The slow burn in the beginning just fills me with tension, knowing something's about to happen, but I'm just stuck on the edge of my seat anticipating it. Everything's done so well, and never once do they try to overly explain something or hold the viewer's hand. The episode respects the viewer and understands we're smart enough to put the pieces together. And the conflicts and solutions they come to never feel forced or contrived. They're not stuck at the farm because of some random bullshit. Crow's semblance pops the tire. It's a natural progression for the story, makes sense, utilizing an element to a character we have already established, and adds to Crow's overall character arc for the volume. His frustrations are piling on top of each other, leading to his abuse of alcohol, and that's just the stuff going on with Crow in this episode. Once again, RWBY's character gets the best moments here. Something so simple as shifting from being pissed at Crow because he's been drinking to understanding he's going through some shit and giving him a hug instead. instead. Like I said, one of Ruby's best aspects is her love for others. And while the conflict of the girls questioning if they should even bother with the relics anymore didn't get further explored throughout the volume, the fact that they actually brought it up here amazed me. The kids have been blindly following Ozpin's orders for so long, so actually having them question their motives, even if it's just for one scene, blew me away. And of course, we've got to talk about the apathy. Hands down the best designed Grimm the show has ever had. The Grimm are usually pretty boring, in my opinion. Nothing terrible, just nothing too impressive. The apathy's design and abilities has been the first time I've actually seen the Grimm as a real threat. Their humanoid appearance is chilling, and their ability to drain your motivations is brilliant. It's so horrifying to me, the idea that I could be totally fine and healthy, but just too lazy to bother putting up a fight. It's incredible. The chase through the well was exciting, but really it's RWBY finally unlocking her silver eye powers on her own accord. Having Maria help walk her through it was the moment I've been waiting for since Volume 3. I love it so much. And there's some amazing line reads in this episode too.
It's fine.
Stop it! Stop! What's wrong with you?
No. Ruby, what color are your eyes?
They give us enough supplemental material to explain the reasoning as to why the apathy are in the well, but it doesn't go too far in depth into what's ultimately unnecessary elements for the show. I just love this episode so much. It grips me. It's thrilling, it's a great moment for our characters, and this episode highlights that we can have an engaging conflict without the need to just have the kids fight something. And there's always people who have their reasons as to why they don't like this episode. Things like, why didn't Weiss just summon something to get out the door? How did Crow not hear them in the basement? Oh, it's just a filler episode. It doesn't affect the plot. But it doesn't matter. I love it. All of those things I'm willing to forgive, because I just have so much fun with it. So what if it's filler? As long as I'm enjoying the show and I'm enjoying what's happening and we're progressing our characters forward, I think it's great. This truly is the best made episode for the whole show. This is the episode that proves to me that the creators of the series really do pour their hearts and souls into making this a good product. It's great, it's fun, and I love it.
No one was angry or sad or scared. No one was anything. And then no one was left.
Shout out to my $10 patrons, you're all awesome. Ramiel, Andrew, Cool Duck, James Dodds, Nako, and Valhalla Knight. Thank you all so much. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I really want to know your thoughts and opinions because I'm willing to bet they're different than mine. What's your favorite episode of the series? What's your favorite scene from the series? Any and all thoughts? Did you hate an episode I talked about? I know a lot of you hate seeing red. But no, seriously, I want to know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments. If you want to help support me, I do have a Patreon. I have lots of fun stuff on there. You can vote for video topics. I actually did these two because they were topics that got voted on, and top worst won that voting poll, but top best got second, and I really wanted to do this one anyway. So yeah, if you want to help vote for whatever the next topic might be, check it out on Patreon, and it's greatly, greatly appreciated. So yeah, like I said, I want to see all your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.